And so the poem, if you read into it, is actually an answer to that personal question in the affirmative. But for all of us, yes, we all belong, right? This is part of what the experiment of a democracy is, that, as our motto says, out of the many one. Are we there yet? Hell no. But that's the other thing I learned. It's a work in progress. And just like a poem, there are good days, there are bad days, and whatnot. So I'll share that poem with you, maybe one other if we have time, and then we'll get on to questions. So I wrote a small memoir about that poem, about the whole experience, from getting the phone call to meeting Beyonce to for those of you younger in the crowd, she sang the national anthem at that inauguration, and the whole creative process of writing the poem. Well, they asked me to write 3 poems in 3 weeks. So anyway, so this is a small excerpt from that memoir. In the moment, I feel America standing as one, putting differences aside and taking a deep collective breath. We all pay tribute to something far bigger and more important than any one of us. And I truly feel like one of us, one of we, the people, in the echoes of the president's and others' speeches. I embrace America in a way I never had or thought I could, feeling for the first time that I truly belong to one country. Not an imaginary ideal from TV or a nostalgic Cuba floating in the sea of my parents' memories, but a real, tangible place that is mine, was mine, all along. Senator Schumer introduces me and calls me up to the podium. My mother squeezes my shoulder. I stand more confident than I imagined I would or could be, transfixed by the moment that is no longer about me or my poems or my glory, but about our country. Still, I'm surprised when the president and vice president stand up to greet me and shake my hand on the way to the podium. They both whisper something in my ear that I can't make out, but their gracious gestures speak silently to my heart, as if saying, Richard, here is your country. This is your story. This is your home. I step up to the podium, look out over the crowd, a patchwork quilt of lives, of stories spread across our ground under our sky beneath our one sun. I take it all in as I take one deep breath, and then another. This is for them. This is for us, for all of us, I think to myself, and begin speaking into our language. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, America, one today. One sun rose on us today, kindled over our shores, peeking over the Smokies, greeting the faces of the Great Lakes, then spreading a simple truce across the Great Plains and charging over the Rockies. One light waking up rooftops, under each one a story told by our silent gestures moving behind our windows. My face, your face, millions of faces in morning's mirrors, each one yawning to life, crescendoing into our day. Pencil yellow school buses, the rhythm of traffic lights, fruit stands, apples, limes, and oranges arrayed like rainbows begging our praise. Silver trucks, heavy with oil or paper, bricks or milk, teeming over highways alongside us, on our way to clean tables, read ledgers, or save lives, to teach geometry or ring up groceries as my mother did for 20 years, so I could write this poem for us today. All of us, as vital as the one light we move through. The same light on blackboards with lessons for the day, equations to solve, history to question, or atoms imagine. The I have a dream, we keep dreaming, or the impossible vocabulary of sorrow that won't explain the empty deaths of 20 children marked absent today and forever. Many prayers, but one light, breathing color into stained glass windows, life into the faces of bronze statues, warmth into the steps of our museums and park benches as mothers watch their children slide into the day. One ground, our ground, rooting us to every stalk of corn, every head of wheat sown by sweat and hands gleaning coal and planting windmills and deserts and hilltops that keep us warm, hands digging trenches, hands riding pipes and cables, hands as worn as my father's, cutting sugarcane, so my brother and I could have books and shoes. The dust of our farms and deserts, our cities and plains, mingled by one wind, our breath. Breathe. Here, through the day's gorgeous din of honking cabs, buses launching down avenues, the symphony of footsteps, guitars, and screeching subways, the unexpected songbird in your clothesline. Here, squeaky playground swings, trains whistling or whispers across cafe tables. Here, the doors we open for each other all day, saying, hello, shalom, buongiorno, howdy, namaste, or buenos dias. In the language my mother taught me, in every language spoken into one wind, carrying our lives without prejudice, as these words break from my lips. One sky since the Appalachians and Sierras claimed their majesty, and the Mississippi and Colorado worked their way to the sea. Thank the work of our hands, weaving steel into bridges, finishing one more report for the boss on time, stitching another wound for uniform. The first brushstroke on a portrait, or the last floor on the Freedom Tower, jutting into a sky that yields to our resilience. One sky, toward which we sometimes lift our eyes, tired for more. Some days guessing at the weather of our lives. Some days giving thanks for a love that loves you back. Sometimes praising a mother who knew how to give, or forgiving a father who couldn't give what you wanted. Still, we head home. Home through the gloss of rain or weight of snow, the plum blush of dust, but always, always home. Always under one sky, our sky, and always one moon, like a silent drum tapping on every rooftop and every window of one country. All of us facing the stars and hope, a new constellation, still waiting for us to map it, still waiting for us to name it together.